James Ernest of the Gruel and Truth here with Xavier coach Travis Steele talking about future NBA player Ed Sumner. So tell us a little bit about how you got him out of Beverly Hills.
This is Beverly Hills, Michigan, not California. Edmond was a kid who honestly wasn't recruited very highly. He played for a good friend of mine at AAU out of the AAU program called the Family, which one of our former players, Jordan Crawford, played for as well. And we developed a really good relationship. He came down early when he was a junior in high school. He was actually only 6 foot tall on his unofficial visit. The next unofficial visit he took, he's actually about 6'3". He was continuing to grow. But we had to beat the likes of Toledo and UMass to get Edmond.
Nice. So, like you said, he's definitely continued to grow and blossom. Now at age 21, he's 6'6"?
He is. Yep.
Nice.
So he just continues to grow. He had knee issues, kind of because he grew so fast. You could kind of always tell he was going to grow. Even when he was in high school, he had really long legs, long arms, was extremely skinny. He still is skinny. He's put a lot of weight on with our strength coach, Matt Jennings. Did a great job with him. But you could always tell he was going to continue to grow.
Yeah, they say he's got a 6'9" wingspan. So, he's got that potential to have those nice long arms and standing reach of about 8 foot, 8.5 feet, something like that.
Yeah, and as you know, the wingspan is more important than height as far as defense goes because you play with your arms and hands. So his ability to impact the game on the defensive end. He could be one of the better defenders in the NBA, I believe.
So tell us about his time at Xavier. Any funny stories?
Ed, when he first got here, he didn't say a word to anybody for like 2 straight days. He was an introvert at heart. He's a very intelligent kid, but just didn't really, it took a while for him to warm up with our guys. So our guys thought he was a little weird. The biggest compliment I could give with Ed is, how much he grew just as a person. His personality, his smile, his ability to talk to people he doesn't know, that he's not familiar with. He really grew a lot in that manner. I don't know if there's one specific funny story with Edmond over the years, other than just, like I said, his personality. But he spent 3 years here, even though he only played 2. Because his first year, we decided to redshirt him because he grew so fast that he had tendonitis in his knees, and the doctors thought it would be best long term for Edmond to get stronger, lift every day with his legs, not really practice as much, wear and tear on his knees. That would give him a good base to work from. So we made that tough decision, which was a hard decision for Edmond. He didn't really want to sit out that year. He wanted to play, but we sold him on the fact that it'd probably be best for him long term, which I really believe that it was. And then Edmond had 2 tremendous seasons for us. And he started at the point guard position both years, and this first year playing, we were, top 5 in the country at one point. We got bounced in around at 32 by Wisconsin, hit a shot at the buzzer, but we had a terrific season. And then, this past year, unfortunately, the season got ended a little bit earlier than he would have hoped, or our staff would have hoped, or our players, or, his teammates. But he had a tremendous impact on our team and our program.
So, with those injuries, they're mostly, you feel that they were kind of just growing pains and not a continual problem in the future, you would say, right?
Yeah, as far as the tendonitis that he had when he was a freshman, absolutely. Obviously, he tore his ACL this year, and, it was a freak accident. He just landed on it wrong. It happens in the game of basketball, unfortunately. He also tore his shoulder. Which he's had surgery on since he's had surgery on his shoulder, his knee. But those things, they don't foresee at all impacting his future. He'll be fine moving forward.
In the future, do you feel he'll be more of a point guard or more of a 2 guard? Because with having such size, but then again, having that nice size against the other point guards could be a great advantage. So what do you feel about that?
I see Edmond as a point guard. But I do think the way the game is trending ball or off the ball. I think he's probably at his best when he has the ball in his hands, using a ball screen or pushing the ball. But I think, his size-wise, he gives you versatility on both ends of the floor.
So are you willing to admit that he is a thief?
Yes, on the court.
Oh yes, no. Well, on the court, he stole from Jones at the what was that? The Midnight Madness last year, whatever. Yeah, he stole the slam dunk contest. Jones's dunks were way better.
They were.
Oh my gosh, they were just so, I think he jumped over 2 or 3 family members or something crazy like that. I mean, Sumner's were nice. And during the regular season, Sumner, much better dunker. But that tournament, the contest, Jones got gypped. So I just want to throw that out there because I felt bad for the fella. Oh, man.
It motivates Tyreek for the upcoming year.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing him because, if he did those last year, I'm sure he's going to have even better stuff this year. So that'll be cool.
He's going to work on it all off season.
Excellent. So, like you were saying, the injuries probably are past him. So obviously, with having such great athleticism, that's what the scouts, the GMs need to focus on, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think number one, I think his character's off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
He's as good as a kid as we've ever had here. He is super intelligent. He's on the honor roll as academic all the E's. But he's intelligent. He can pick up things quickly.
Excellent.
And I think when you have character and you have intelligence and you combine that with, obviously, his size, his length, his athleticism, I think his best basketball is definitely ahead of him. And, again, and that's not to take away from his game right now. I think he has an ability, he knows how to play, get in the lane, he has a very good handle. He's got to continue to improve his jump shooting. And he will. His shot's not broke at all. He's got to touch up on his form. But I just think he's going to making shots, which I think that's the one skill that you can easily improve in the quickest. So I would anticipate him improving that a lot, and that'll take his game even to another level because guys have to guard him even closer.
You mentioned the intelligence. One of the nice things is that information about him being smart is out there. I spoke to Jay Billis the other day, and that was one of the things Jay Billis really couldn't say enough nice things about him because Ed's degree was in, computers or something to that extent?
Yes, computer science.
Yeah, so, Jay kept going on about that, and of course the other part was his work ethic. Obviously you can speak to that about how, just how hardworking the young man is.
Yeah, and it goes on the court and off the court. And he's a tremendous student. I think he had a great basis. His father and his mother put him in a great situation early on in life. Gave him a great base academically. And, Detroit Country Day, which is in Beverly Hills, Michigan, is as good of a school as you will find. And then obviously chose Xavier. I think the big reason why they chose Xavier is because of the academic piece.
Mm-hmm.
Academics are important, and he's more than just basketball. I think he sees a bigger picture. His work ethic, Edmond, he was always a very talented player, but, again, like I said, we beat Toledo and UMass, and that's no disrespect to those programs, but a lot of times we don't recruit against those programs, most of the time. But Edmond had a high ceiling. We thought he could grow, but he's worked his tail off on his game. He took his game to a whole nother level, even during his sit-out year. He worked tremendously hard with Matt Jennings. He's put on almost 30 pounds since he's been here at Xavier. He came in at about 155 pounds. He left at about 185. He had to change his eating habits. He had to spend more time in the weight room than anybody else with Matt Jennings. We had to spend more time on the court. Being able to take bumps on drives and playing with, finish through contact. He got a lot better in those areas. And, Edmond would be the guy that'd be in the gym. He's usually one of the guys that's in there after practice. He's in there before practice. He kind of set that tone for our team.
Nice. And then you all recently upgraded that weight room last season, correct?
We did. We got a brand new weight room. Just state of the art. It's built for men's and women's basketball. I think it motivates our guys. Even the other one was nice. This one probably is a lot nicer. Gives us even more space and new equipment. And Matt Jennings, he's
let's see, some of the things that he's also been praised for are his improved court vision and his slashing ability. Do you feel that those are going to be able to transition in the next level?
I do. I think it'll be even easier for him to get into the paint. You know, with the NBA rules, with the way the game's played, and with personnel. I mean, there's better shooters in the NBA than there are in college. You know, there aren't as much help in the NBA defensively. I think Edmond will be more one-on-one, and that's when he's at his best. I think he's so quick. He's so long. His first step's so good that he'll live in the paint. Now, again, like you said, he's really improved his decision-making, and, you know, which is going to be critical for him, because it's one thing getting there. It's another thing. It's not like football where you get a first down for just getting to the paint. You know, you got to get there, and then you got to make the right decision, whether it's the finish. And I think he's gotten a lot better at finishing just because he's gotten stronger. He's been able to diversify his finishing, but also, you know, finding guys. You know, he's got great size. So his ability to get an angle to pass the ball is different than a 6'2" guard because of his wingspan. And he can get that extra angle to either hit the guy on a pocket bounce pass, roll him to the rim, or hit the guy, you know, on the perimeter, you know, for a jump shot. I think his game will translate. He'll be even better in the NBA than he was in college.
I am a little concerned about his draft status, though, or at least the rumors of the teams talking about taking him. Right now, one of the top prospects for him is the Knicks, and that's a scary thought for the young man.
You know what? He'll be happy. He'll go into whatever team that takes him. But you know, hopefully, you know, for him, I want him to be able to get an opportunity to play early. You know, whatever team that is. You can look at it one of two ways. You know, go to a place like the Knicks, where obviously they're rebuilding. You get an opportunity to impact right away and learn on the fly, or you can go to a place like, you know, the Memphis Grizzlies, who has Mike Conley. You get to learn from a guy like that. I think Edmond will take advantage of whatever situation that he's in, and he'll make the best out of it.
Speaking of that playing early, I've heard rumors that they might end up, well, I know it's not officially called redshirting in the pros, but basically the equivalent of that because of his injuries, that he might not come back till later in the season, and that teams are considering him basically storing him for next year. Do you think that would be beneficial to get him back up to full status?
Yeah, I think it could be. You know, it depends upon, you know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not that smart, but whatever is going to be best for him long term. You know, I think a lot of those NBA teams are probably going to look at it like, well, shoot, this kid's a first round talent. If you wouldn't have gotten hurt, he'd probably be a top 20, top 25 pick in the draft lock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think because of the injuries, status has dropped a little bit. But, you know, if you can get a kid in the early second round that would have gone top 25, well, mm-hmm. It's worth that risk, you know, and to be able to get an impact guy. But I think Edmond is similar to what he did here at Xavier. You know, his first year, he could have played, but I always thought it was best long term for him not to play. Now, Edmond's a smart kid. He's going to do what's best for him long term, whether that's, you know, sitting out this upcoming NBA season and just rehabbing and getting stronger and making sure he's full go for that following year, or at the end of this upcoming year, or if it's to play right away, to play right away. But I think that played a big part of the decision for him to go. Was, you know, just kind of when he would be able to return. You know, when would his return be? And you know, we felt like it made a lot of sense for him to go as well, from what all the NBA guys were saying.
Appreciate your answers on Ed. I've got like 3 or 4 random Big East/Xavier questions. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. How happy, of course, is Xavier for the alum Mr. Xavier, David West, winning the title?
Oh, extremely happy. You know, Dave is a winner. He is, and again, even in the NBA circles, he's a man's man. He's a professional, you know, and you're always happy to see a guy like that get his ultimate goal. You know, for him to basically turn down, you know, a $12 million contract with the Pacers and go to the Spurs the year before, you know, shows how badly he wanted to win. You know, it's not about money for him.
Yeah, I feel that he had a huge impact on the Pacers. Prior to him getting there, they were kind of a bit aloof there, but then he turned them around, and then they got that team going in the right direction. Unfortunately, though, then they added, Bynum. And because up until that point, they were doing great, number one seed, and then all of a sudden they had Bynum, and then train wreck. That did not go well for him. Yeah, because I see what the Pacers were thinking. They're like, okay, we'll bring him in, let Foster and West, coach this guy up, teach this guy the right way to do things, and get back to what he used to be. And it just, that was unfortunate. But you're right, it's great that it ended up working out in the long run, him getting to go to, the Spurs, which, is always an excellent run organization, and then going to the Golden State Warriors and winning it all. So I have two other Big East players I want to get your opinion on with them being in the draft. Justin Patton from Creighton.
Yeah, he is it's amazing. He sat out. He redshirted his freshman year at Creighton, and then he only played 1 year this past year at Creighton. And Justin is enormous. He is. He's huge. He's every bit of 6'11". Could be taller. I guess with shoes on. I don't know what his exact measurements are, but he is long. He's mobile. He is he's got great hands. He's got great touch. I think, again, he has the ability, just watching him shoot free throws. He had a big three against us at the Big East tournament from the top of the key. So I think he has touch. I think that'll be developed over time. I think what you see right now of what Justin Patton is, he's just like Clay. You're just going to have to mold him. He's not going to be a guy that's probably going to be up for Rookie of the Year during his first year in the NBA. But I do think when he gets some experience, gets used to the physicality of the game, man, he's just perfect for the way the game's played today at that level. He can run, he can finish, he can roll to the rim, and he can protect the rim on the other end. And like I said, I think he'll end up being able to make some shots as well, just because he has touch. I think he's a very good prospect. I would imagine he's got to be a lock, top 20, top 25 pick in the draft. Be shocked if he'd slide past that point. If the team needs a center, he'd be a pretty dang good option.
Exactly. Like you said, though, with being young, a couple years down the road kind of thing with him, I'm assuming.
Yes, and you think that he's even a year young, I think, for his grade. So really, he should have been a true freshman this year. He's a baby. But I think in a few years, he had 3 plays here when the Luke play didn't hear at our place, where he had 3 huge offensive rebound tip dunks. And he had a couple, he's so hard to guard in pick and roll situations because if he gets behind you, guys a lot like Chris Paul does with DeAndre Jordan, he just throw it up around the rim to him. He's going to get it. And it doesn't have to be right on target. He has the ability to take bad passes and make them look good, make them that highlight plays. He has that, and I think that's the way the game is trending. You got to be, as a big man, you got to be a good pick and roll player. You got to be able to protect the rim. You got to be able to run the floor. And he does all those things. And he can make, like I said, he can stretch it a little bit. I think he'll be able to make jump shots in the future. So he's the perfect, the present day big man that you're looking for.
The other one I wanted to get your opinion on is Josh Hart out of Villanova. Great college career, but I've heard people concerned about his ability to transition to the next level. Because sometimes when you're a big winner in NCAA, doesn't mean you're always going to be...
Yeah, doesn't always translate. And I think Josh, if I had to guess, because we recruited him really hard out of high school, he's not going to look good in a workout. You put him in a skill workout, you do shooting, you do some ball handling, pick and roll work, he's probably not going to look like $1 million. He's probably not going to look like an NBA player. I'm going to tell you, when you go 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, and you start competing, he looks like one of the best players on the floor. He's ultra competitive. He has a terrific motor. Terrific. He makes winning plays, loose balls, takes charges, offensive rebounds. I think he will have a long career in the NBA. I think he will be, I don't be like a starter or a guy that's, I don't think he's an all-star or anything like that, but I do think he could be a guy a lot like the Golden State Warriors have. They have to get Pat McCall off the bench, Ian Clark, Andre Iguodala, guys that just impact the game in multiple ways. I think that's what Josh Hart is. Now, the question for me, I never could really figure out, his percentages were pretty good shooting the ball in college, especially later on in his career. I still never bought that he was a great shooter. I didn't trust it for whatever reason. I think that'll probably end up being the reason he makes it a long career in the NBA, or he doesn't. Just because, you got to be able to make shots at that level. If you can't shoot, it's hard to play you. But again, I think if he can continue to improve in that area, because he does makes so many winning plays, I think he'll have a long career and play a role.
Exactly. I mean, there's just some players that know how to win the game, like you said. I mean, shoot, even if he can't jump out of the gym or, make all the shots when no one's guarding him, as long as he can make the shots when someone's guarding him, that's the important thing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, because, heck, even if you're shooting percentages, 80% when no one's guarding you, that ain't ever going to happen in the NBA, so you got a good point there. I want to thank you for your time, Coach. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Look forward to speaking to you again before the season starts. I hear you all just released the non-conference schedule.
Yeah, we did. We'll be challenged, which will be good. We feel like we got a chance to be pretty good this year. We had an interesting mix of young kids coming in and that are very talented, and we got some talented veterans back. So it's a big off season for us, and we wanted to challenge ourselves with a tough schedule. And Mario Mercurio on our staff, he's in charge of scheduling. He does a terrific job. We're excited about this upcoming year.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too.